Welcome back in, everyone. Good afternoon. It's afternoon here. All right. We have some more pieces of Jordan Henning testifying in the trial against him for the unaliving of his wife. This is part 3 of what we've seen. So if you missed part 1 and part 2, you probably want to go back and watch those before you watch this. So let's get to court.
I know it was murdered, and I loved him so much. I just can't believe I hurt him.
When you're yelling there at Carter, you think you were maybe beginning to lose it?
Yeah, I was, I don't know, I was just mad at Ashley, and she just kept rejecting me and just, I don't know, just dismissing me. And I don't know, I was upset. And when I was yelling at Carter, yelling for Carter, and I don't know.
Now, you understand the comments say, well, when you shot the last shot, you must have been thinking about it. Were you really thinking at this point? Were you in control?
No, I wasn't thinking at all.
Did you have any judgment at this point?
No.
When you left, how did the police end up arresting you?
I don't really remember. I just remember being thrown in the back of the car, and I don't know. I just remember I was in my car, and then they yelled, "Stick your hands out!" and somehow I was on my knees, and then I was arrested, and I don't know. It comes in snippets, and it's hard to piece together at times.
Now, I want to ask you, at some point you threw the gun, is that right?
Yes.
According to the video. What were you taught about weapons in the military?
So, are you talking about, like, if an enemy combatant has one, or?
Yes.
So just if they even have one in the area, if they're not allowed to, it's what we consider hostile intent. If they point it at you, hostile action. If they fire it, it's a hostile action. If they're showing it, threatening to use it, things like that. You kind of read the situation. You just don't think. You just have to react to it.
Understood.
Well, yes, sir. So I guess the best way to put it is the general and the command sergeant major are the face of the division. And so they're successful because of our work and what we put up, and they have to be able to do their job. So to do things meticulously, to have things done right, it was very important. And if you made a mistake, you had to recognize it and acknowledge it, but you move forward. You didn't make that mistake ever again.
The broken soldier defense. That is what I'm thinking of. Now, Jordan, when he testified, said that they had seen counselors. And what I want to understand is whether or not these counselors were brought in to testify, because that would be great information for the jury. We don't know. I've searched high and low. I'm finding very little information on this trial. Was he looking for a way out regardless? Did he say, okay, my only way out for me and my daughter is to do this? The thing that bothers me about people that start documenting things when they know that things are coming to a head is it makes them look guilty in the end of it all. You're told to document to protect yourself, but when you flip the script and you're the one that blows, then now you look like you've almost planned this to an extent.
Now, I asked you about the abuse going on here when you're assigned to Fort Knox as well, and did it in fact continue to occur?
Not at first, but it did, yes.
And is that what you talked to Commanding Sergeant Major Bass about?
It is.
All right. And did you seek to get counseling after that?
We did. I started seeing the unit chaplain about it as well. And then we got involved with the online counselors that, Jim and Amy had recommended. Didn't really get on, I don't say we didn't get along with those counselors, but you didn't really connect with them. And so, we stopped attending through them a few months later. And I believe this was April. I had applied to the military one source. And what they do is they will pay for counseling. So what we requested was conflict resolution counseling. And that's when we began seeing them at the beginning of May of 2023.
The victim card about the authorities laughing at him when he contacted them for assistance. I want to hear from Jimmy Watts. I want to hear that full testimony. I want to hear the daughter's full testimony. I wish we could see what the jury is seeing. It's driving me nuts.
So you stated that the abuse continued at 22. You mentioned you called the Hardin County Sheriff's Department. Did you do that?
I did after I came home from that work trip with Command Sergeant Major Bass and found all of my stuff destroyed.
You came home from that trip. What happened?
So after I found everything busted up, I contacted the Sheriff's Department to see on their non-emergency line on what I could do. What did they recommend? And I had gone into a real quick history of, hey, she has gotten physical in the past, because that was the first question the individual asked me was, anything physical right then and there? And I said, no, not right now, but it has happened. I said, right now it's just stuff. He said, well, it's marital property, so it's no different than her destroying the stuff. And I made a comment of, well, so that's like saying it's my house, and if I forgot my keys, I can just kick in the door. And it's like, well, yeah, it's your house. Okay. So I felt like I wasn't heard, or that I couldn't do anything, to protect myself in that manner. We got into an argument the next day about everything. Obviously, I was upset that, I worked hard for that stuff, and some of the stuff was gifts from her too. And so that's when one of these photos came from, and I contacted the sheriff. It was actually the number 4. She threw the remote at me. And I contacted the sheriff, and he kind of laughed and was like, okay, buddy, either take over chain command or start collecting evidence. And so that's what I started to do, was collecting photos of when things would happen.
Did the police authorities seize your phone after they arrested you in this case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then did they have that phone? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And what I want to do is show you a cell report from your phone. From your phone, telephone calls. Made 9/7/22 and then 9/8/22. Do you see those?
Yes, sir.
All right. And those are phone calls from your phone what number is called?
270-765-5133.
The first, and is that the Hardin County Sheriff's Department?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then did you tell them about the abuse?
I did, sir.
That call that you made, is that a 911 or non-emergency?
It's not an emergency, sir.
Because you weren't being assaulted at the time, correct?
Correct. And it's when life, limb, or eyesight.
And how long is that call?
The first call was 6 minutes and 39 seconds.
All right. And again, when you reported that you were being, that you were a victim of abuse, were you asked if you were a soldier?
I was.
What was your response?
I told him I was stationed at Fort Knox.
What was the direction given to you?
Well, after he kind of chuckled and laughed, didn't seem like he really took it seriously. He said, well, if it's really going on, then you need to collect evidence and then turn it into your chain of command.
Of course, you already talked to had you talked to Commanding Sergeant Bass yet? Or was that after that?
This is the day after I talked to Command Sergeant Major Bass.
When you say the person laughed,
Yes, sir.
do you know what the cause of the laughter was? Was it because you're a soldier, you're a man, or both?
I don't know if it's because I was a man or a soldier, but you could just tell he didn't take me seriously. It was just real dismissive.
Is there a call the next day?
There is, sir.
Is that September 8th, 2022?
Yes, sir.
And is that again to the Sheriff's Department, 270-765-5133?
It is, sir.
How long is that one?
That one's 2 minutes and 34 seconds.
2 minutes and 34 seconds?
Yes, sir.
All right. And what was the purpose of that call?
So that's when Ashley had thrown the remote and hit me in the face. And I asked him, and I called to talk to him about it. I said, what is this substantial? Like, is this enough to get an EPO? What can I do? And again, they just kind of dismissed it. And he said, we'll take pictures. And, do you need to go to the hospital? I said, no, I don't need to go to the hospital or anything like that. So I just took it as he just didn't care. He just didn't believe me.
You took it as what?
That they didn't care and they didn't believe me.
That's part of what occurred with his examination by his defense attorney. Now let's get into what happened on cross and the prosecutor tearing into him.
What possible purpose did you have to rifle around in a gun after you shot her 4 times and she's on the floor? What possible purpose did you have for that?
My purpose for it is to get around back into the chamber, sir.
You wanted her dead. You wanted to make sure she was dead. You heard the moaning. She was dying. That wasn't enough for you. Isn't that right? You wanted her dead that night. What other reason would you fire a gun into this young woman laying on the floor, moaning from the gun bullets that you put in her seconds before? What other purpose other than you wanted her dead? Isn't that what, can we agree on that?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You don't remember doing this?
I don't.
You don't remember shooting this young woman a 5th time after you rifled a bullet into the round into this chamber? It was done?
No, I don't, sir.
Either you don't remember or you choose not to remember.
I don't remember it.
You didn't have any problem running out after that, pulling the keys out of the drawer, did you?
I don't
Didn't
know.
have any problem with that, did you?
No.
Didn't have a problem after you got the keys going out of the car. Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
You don't even remember that.
No, sir.
And driving at a high rate of speed to get out of there. You don't remember that either?
No, sir.
You choose to forget that part. Is that what you've done? Yeah, no problem talking for an hour about all the stuff you all
You
did.
asked a question, and you should be able to give an answer for that question.
I apologize.
I'm also a judge. You just need to head into short class, which you just did. You understand?
To sustain to the extent, let him answer the question for
I
you.
apologize. I said it on your answers. I can't remember how the question. But the point I was making is you left in that white sedan after you left her in the kitchen, shot 5 times. Am I right?
Okay.
That's the car they arrested you in. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember driving away at a high rate of speed in that white sedan?
No, sir.
Not have any memory of that.
One thing that stood out to me in this is that they said that the victim had said to him, "Be a man and put the gun down." But you guys remember that piece where he's following her down the stairs and he has the weapon in his hand. I'm just thinking maybe she didn't know he had the weapon in his hand because she's so nonchalant acting. It's like a regular fight. They're just having another argument, right? I'm going to play that for you guys again.
The shooting seen and heard on surveillance cameras that
Right
were
here.
set up inside the couple's Rineyville home.
I watched my
I don't think she knew he had the gun. Look at how nonchalant she is.
Cameras that were set up inside the couple's Rineyville home.
I watched myself on that video, yes. I don't know who that was.
Henning's testimony, one of 2 major events that took place in the Hardin County courtroom on Monday. The other, military psychologist testifying that in his opinion, Henning was suffering from extreme emotional distress, one trigger after another, resulting in him losing control. Henning claims he suffered years of alleged abuse, both physical and mental. He says Ashley kicked him down the stairs, hit him, and bit him. The psychologist testifying that those were like drops in a bucket, one after another, and that, coupled with Henning's military training, created the perfect storm.
They want it to be second nature. They want it to be something you don't have to think about.
On video, Henning appears enraged, angry, loud, aggressive. After the shooting, he's seen going back and reloading his pistol before shooting Ashley again.
That reloading of the weapon is, I believe, is what's going to do him in with the jury. From everything that I've seen, and I have not seen it all, but I just feel like if I was on the jury, and that piece would be what would make me stop and go, that's a long pause. He had to have realized what he did. Okay, he's still in a rage. He turns around. He walks back all the way back over across the room and reloads and takes the time to come all the way back and finish it. Are you in such a rage that you don't even catch what you're doing at that point? But if I was a juror, that's what I would be stuck on.
We're going to play some video and then we'll stop at various points. So during this 20 minutes. And just so we help the jury, you all had a party that day, is that right?
We did.
It was Ashley's 37th birthday.
It was.
There were some neighbors who come. I think it's Sabat's, am I pronouncing that right?
Friends of Ashley's, yes.
You might speak up a little bit, I know the guy.
They're friends of Ashley's. They don't live in the neighborhood, sir.
They don't live in the neighborhood.
Correct.
They were one of the people that came over.
Correct.
And they came over because it was her 37th birthday.
Correct, sir.
Were there others who came to that party?
Yes, there was.
And who were they? Including yourself and your children.
Jimmy Watts, and I believe Jason Bucker was there for a little while, sir.
Off and on or for the whole party?
On towards the end, and then her other friend Jessica, her son Andrew, and her daughter Sadie were there.
All right, so you had a pretty good group of people.
Yes, sir.
They were all friends of both you and Ashley?
More Ashley, but yes.
All right. They were more Ashley than they were you, but you knew them all?
Yes, sir.
And you had children.
Yes, sir.
And by that I mean Riley was upstairs when because she had pink eye or something that night. She was upstairs in her room.
Correct.
As she testified. And her older son, what's his name? I'm sorry.
Tyler.
Would he participate in the party?
He came down and grabbed food.
And that was about it.
And took his sister a plate. Yes, sir.
What about Carter?
Him and Samuel and Sadie were playing in the backyard and in the pool.
How old was Carter at that time?
He was 8.
And how old were the other kids? By that I mean the young kids playing with Carter.
They were 8 as well.
Swimming pool put out?
I have one in my backyard, yes, sir.
Is it above ground, one of these little plastic ones, or was it something fancier than that?
It's a 20 foot wide, 5 foot deep above ground pool.
And the kids were playing in it?
Yes, sir.
And there's a slip and slide.
Yes, sir.
Who set that up?
Carter and I did.
All right. Now, what is the slip and slide for those of us maybe too old to remember?
It's a piece of plastic tarp that you hook up to a water hose. It keeps it wet. You run and you can slide on it.
You have to hook it up to a hose with running water?
Yes, sir.
All right. You did that to set it up?
Me and Carter did, yes.
There's not a lot here from the prosecution diving into him, but there's one other clip I've found as of right now. So let's watch this one.
I understand it. You hear that? If you're really a man, put that gun down. Put it down so we can talk. You remember seeing her aunt telling you that?
Yes, sir.
That's the first time you've heard her say, be a man and put the gun down.
No, I heard it the other day when we watched
Talk
the
about that night. Did you hear her say, please put this gun down?
No, sir, I didn't.
It's hard to watch, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Now, at that moment, you know you shot her. Right?
No, I shot, yes.
From that gun you brought upstairs. The one we talked about a few minutes ago.
Yes, sir.
She's on the kitchen floor. We're in the living room now. I told you would hear her warning. Did you hear that?
I do.
That young lady is gone. You can hear moaning all the way back here where you are. All the while trying to rack more bullets into your gun. Isn't that what you're doing?
Yes, sir.
Truth is, she died because she told Jimmy to call the cops. From that moment on, you were in trouble. You killed her not because of these injuries here, whatever they may be. That's not why she's killed. The story about her twisting your testicles. You killed that young woman because of the hell you brought to that house in that 20 minutes. She called the police to save herself, her children, and neighbors. And that call was going to end your job in the military. And you killed her. And you wanted to make sure she was dead and went back and shot her again. The woman who told you, I love you. I just got a couple more questions. Did you get training in EO Sharp? If I'm pronouncing that right, the acronym? You're familiar with that? If you need to take a break, that's no problem. We want to take a break. I've only got a few minutes. He's upset now. That wasn't my intention, you understand? But it's hard to see what happened to this young lady. It was big. I understand. Let me ask you the question about the EO Sharp. Does that ring a bell to you, Mr. Henning? I understand. Does that mean something to you?
Yes, sir.
Is that training about how to de-escalate domestic violence among soldiers?
No, sir.
What is that about? If I'm wrong, you can tell me. I apologize.
Which one, sir? EO or Sharp?
The acronym is, if I'm correct, is EO Sharp. Have I got that right? I'm going to talk to my colleague just for a moment. I guess the point I'm making is, I've only got another question or two. Did you get in the years you were in the military, did you have training and or did you train people or both and how to de-escalate a domestic violence situation?
No, sir.
Never had done. Okay, all right. That's my mistake. I apologize. Let me just look at my notes for a second. Mr. Henning, that's all the questions I have at this time.
We have one more clip of the redirect with him. So we'll get to that now. This is hard, you guys. I know I keep saying this, but what if he did truly have PTSD from being a soldier? Then I feel like crap for feeling like he should be put in jail. But then I think about, well, she was a soldier too. She was serving in the military. They don't talk about all of what she went through. You know, she's the victim in this. I'm just,
Where you lost it that night. What set, can you say, what set it off? What point did you start to lose?
I don't know exactly what point it was. I just know that I did, and I watched it.
Just a few more questions. They keep talking about the police that could ruin your career. Obviously, the homicide not only ruins your career, ruins your life, right?
Yes, sir.
Until that night, Jordan, had you had a traffic ticket?
Did you say that again?
Till that night, had you had a traffic ticket in your life?
Yes, I've had traffic tickets.
And that's your extent of your, I guess, record, traffic tickets.
Yes, sir.
So which one of you is your career's gone, freedom's gone, and she's gone?
Yes, sir.
You're even able to think, you just react.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Did you break? Soldiers aren't supposed to break. Did you break?
Clearly.
Jordan, you're writing down the pain you're in. Again, I'd have to ask you, why didn't you just get a divorce?
I just wanted things to work out. And when I did try to leave, I thought she was going to take my daughter from me.
why does it always circle back around to the custody of the children and the fighting over the custody and you know, I don't want you to have her, so somebody's got to go. Ugh, just terrible. I was wrong about something, and I do apologize. I think I had said that she had 2 children with him and 1 from a previous marriage. I think it was 2 children from a previous marriage or relationship, and she had 1 child with him. So I was incorrect in that. Now, their daughter, did come up and testify. We've not seen any of that. It's not on any of the channels. I don't know how to find it, but I think what I'll have to do is if we can't get any more on this, I might have to dive into like some, I don't know, some articles from reporters that were in there, maybe that wrote about what the daughter testified to. That might be our next. That may be our next best thing. But until now, you're stuck with me and just this, okay?
The shooting and what led up to it was captured on cameras inside the Henning home. You can see and hear the couple arguing, going back and forth. And at one point, you hear gunshots, then see Jordan grabbing more ammunition before another shot is heard. Henning's lawyers are not disputing the shooting. They say that Jordan was the victim of domestic violence, and he snapped that day. Today, his attorneys made a motion to exclude Ashley's autopsy report from the trial.
You've admitted this killing occurred, that she died at his hands. You've admitted that to the jury because your thing was, it's not who, it's not what, when, all this other stuff. It's the why. For that, I'm overruling the objection because I really don't see, just being honest with you, that's one of the strangest objections I've ever heard.
Judge.
And the video of the shooting was shown twice in court in front of the judge and the jurors. Both times, Jordan Henning was visibly upset. If convicted of murder, he faces 20 years to life in prison.
Listen, if you guys have stuck here this long, I do appreciate you. I appreciate your time. And stay tuned. Be ready for the next one. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to like and subscribe on your way out. And feel free to leave a comment. Have a blessed day.